Chapter 27. No time is a good time. Sarah was in the side yard of her house when I pulled up. She saw me as I walked up to her. It wasn't until I was in front of her that I saw recognition in her eyes. Even then, Sarah didn't seem happy to see me. I only received a hug when I asked her for one. Sarah insisted she had to go back inside before her mom knew she was in the yard. I walked back to my car feeling dejected. I responded to a message on an app as I was leaving Sarah's subdivision. Ivan was in his early 20s. He had bleach blonde hair and an athletic build. He was from Eastern Europe, but he had a house in Kissimmee while he went to college in America. Ivan invited me over. It was a 5-minute drive from Sarah's house to his. The next morning, I told Sarah I still wanted to see her before I left the area. She told me to meet her at the gas station in front of her subdivision. I waited for her in my car. When Sarah walked up and got in, she had me drive her to a park on a small lake across the highway from the gas station. Sarah showed me around the park. We walked out on the docks. We wandered around. We talked as we looked out across the water. Once we left the park, I drove down the main strip in Kissimmee and into some random neighborhoods. We continued to talk. I need to get back home. My mom... Alright, I'm going to get a hotel room tonight. I want to see you more. I'll do what I can to get away. I can't promise anything. I managed to find a hotel room right next to Disney World with the travel app on my phone. Whether it was a pandemic discount or not, the total cost ended up at $17. Sarah never spent any more time with me that night. She claimed her mom wouldn't let her leave. I stayed in the hotel room by myself that evening. As I walked to a soda machine in the middle of the night, the hotel door caught the curtain in the window. The door was stuck closed with me outside the room. It took a half hour before a maintenance worker was able to let me back in the room. I stayed around the Orlando area for one more day after I left the hotel the next morning. The people who were active outside were still going about their daily routines. There were just fewer of them. When the sun went down that night, I met up with a woman from one of the dating apps. We met at a park playground. I pushed her on a swing in the dark as we talked about ourselves and about the panic that was steadily overtaking the entire country. After we parted ways, I drove north to leave Florida. I was in Georgia eating a burrito in my car the next afternoon when police surrounded me. 5 cruisers pulled up to me from all directions. I continued to eat as I rolled down the window. We received a call of someone sitting in a car, possibly casing the area. Yeah, I'm sure I'm the guy. I took another bite of my burrito. I just needed to eat and rest. I'm headed back to Michigan from Florida. Long drive. Well, yeah, that's a long way to go. Stay safe, sir. Sorry to bother you. The police left me alone to finish my meal. Ziah and I had been texting back and forth during that trip down south. I was all over the place. Ziah was locked down with her mom and her mom's girlfriend in Surf City, North Carolina. I video called with her from parking lots and rest stops. We talked about seeing each other again. I want to see you again. I'm gonna come see you. You can try. I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to leave here. Well, I'm gonna try. It's worth it to me to give it a shot. I was in the mountains of Tennessee when Dan sent me a strange text. I pulled into a gas station and I made a phone call. There's a lot I can't say on the phone, but everything in Lansing is all messed up. What do you mean? Are you in danger? No, I'm not. I can't say too much. I'll see you sometime soon, I hope. Alright, man. Be safe. I factored the interaction to tweaking, but I was left with some concerns when I hung up the phone. I pulled from the gas station to continue my drive. Surf City was its own island off the coast of North Carolina. There was a bridge from the mainland to the island, full of beach homes and summer homes. I arrived on the island at 11 o'clock at night. Ziah apologized to me. Her mom wasn't allowing her to leave to see anyone. I drove around while on the island. I missed Ziah, and I was sad I wasn't able to see her that night. Soon my focus turned to how I was the absolute only car on the streets of the island. I didn't see a single person as I drove around. I didn't see a single car on the road. Not just was there nobody else driving on the roads, but there was nobody even parked on any of the streets anywhere. I was tired from driving. Hot rails couldn't overcome my desire to shut my eyes. I drove through the dark streets of Surf City as I looked for inconspicuous parking. I turned a corner into one of the neighborhoods and I decided it was as good a place as any to put the shades up in my window and get some sleep. At 4 in the morning, I woke up to tapping on my windshield. I opened my eyes in the darkness and sat there in silence for a few seconds. There was a louder noise in my windshield. I yelled for them to hold on a second. I didn't want my windshield to break. I made sure my hot rail equipment was put away and I opened my car door. I just needed a rest. I'd been driving all day. Both of the officers were shocked that I drove from Florida and was still in the process of driving to the Midwest. The officers offered up some close locations with parking spots. I thanked them. They apologized for waking me and wished me safe travels. The interaction was my prompt to leave the island. I blew down a hot rail and crossed the bridge back to the mainland. I texted Ziah. I told her I was leaving the area. I found a rest stop outside Wilmington and I slept until it was light outside the next morning. I sent a message to a lady from the website. She was down in southern Georgia. I told her I would be happy to see her in the next few days. I began another drive south. I had been in contact with another woman from Kentucky. She had invited me to come to see her, but she wasn't intimidated by the global crisis. She wanted me to come stay with her at her house. I told her I was on my way. When I reached the Louisville area, I put my phone in the holder on my windshield. I saw the city skyline through the trees and I pressed the button to record video as I drove. The Louisville sky that evening was a dark blue. I headed south on the interstate. The sun was setting over the rivers and bridges on the right side of the highway. There were 4 lanes for each direction on the interstate. The downtown Louisville skyline was approaching on my left. It was rush hour on a weekday. I knew I had stumbled into another one of those moments which was larger than I. The back of my neck tingled as I suddenly cleared the tree line on both sides of the highway. The space in front of me opened up to a concrete jungle of overpasses and underpasses. The river paralleled the highway to the right of my car. Bridges of various sizes and shapes crossed over the expanse above the water. The lights from the skyscrapers shone from the downtown area on my left. Besides just a handful of other drivers, I was alone. A major city at rush hour on one side of me and a sunset over the river on the other side, and almost nobody else anywhere around me sharing the experience. It was surreal to say the least. My eyes watered. It was beautifully haunting beyond words. The video I recorded that evening was 40 minutes long. It spanned from Kentucky to Illinois and back to Kentucky again. It crossed the river and the state lines. It began with a dark blue sky and ended in the night. The first 2 minutes as I drove past downtown Louisville became one of the most amazing videos I ever created. I almost missed recording it. I had seen the tops of the skyscrapers for only a split second as I approached. I made a fateful decision in that moment. I began recording and I managed to record a magical moment in my life. I stopped for gas a half hour from Devin's house. I did a double take when I saw the sign displaying the cost per gallon of gasoline. Frowning, I confirmed the price on the sign with the digital display on the gas pump. It was legit, and it was the first time I had seen that price for gas in 2 decades. Gas at that gas station was 99 cents a gallon. Devin instructed me where to park in her yard. She owned a lot of property in the rolling farmland hills of deep Kentucky. I parked next to the barn. Once inside, Devin and I quickly headed to the bedroom. We kissed and embraced. We undressed as we made our way to the bed. The crystal affected me that evening. What I couldn't do with true intimacy, I made up for with my mouth. After Devin climaxed, she went to sleep. Devin had the next day off work. She rode with me and showed me around the local area. We went out to eat, we went to the store, and we went to the post office. Devin needed to mail some letters. I was happy to see the city. Later that evening, we cooked dinner together. Devin worked normal business hours on the 5 weekdays. I split my time on those days. Half of the time I did hot rails at the dining room table. I spent the rest of the time making videos. I made videos fully unclothed in the front yard until I saw 3 older cowboy-looking characters seated out front of the house across the street. Devin's front yard was a large field with a pond, and her house was offset fairly far from the road. The house across the street was set the same way, but it was a clear view from one front porch to the other. I received a text message one afternoon from Dan's friend Tammy in Lansing. The text wasn't like any of the messages she usually sent me. It was blatantly urgent. Dan disappeared. The house is gone. So's your BMW. I called Tammy. She answered right away. What are you talking about? Something happened. A guy came in with a gun. Police are looking for Dan and Ashley. There's a news story. It's all messed up. Everything's gone. More's gonna happen. Tammy was all over the place. I told Devin I had to leave Kentucky. I continued to try to call Dan, but I only ever reached his voicemail. I sent messages to some of our other friends in Lansing. They knew something was going on, but they didn't know the details. I texted my friend Brittany to see if she knew anything. Brittany and her best friend Ashley spent a lot of time over at Dan's house when I was around. Brittany sent me a link to a news story. It didn't answer my questions, but it did show me something. The news clip was short. I knew the people in the video. The scene up in Lansing was a downward spiral. Though I avoided the drama for the most part, I could feel the tension prior to my departure to Texas. The sinister undertones in Lansing were the catalyst to leave the area for a while. The lockdown was the final push for me to head out. The text from Tammy pulled me back in. I couldn't shake a feeling. If I didn't wrap up Lansing loose ends in a timely manner, I would never be able to leave.